Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah channel. Happy Saturday. We're going to talk today about the power of energy and remind you to control and harness your own energy. We'll be right back after a few announcements and a quick prayer, and we're going to dive right into this powerful subject. See you in a few.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be unto you. Welcome to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. How's everyone doing today? You all doing good? I pray that you are. I pray that your energy is vibrating and popping at the highest frequency. And if not, if you need some help doing that, then go ahead and seek that help. We're going to talk this morning about energy. We're going to talk about how important energy is and how we must learn to take control of our energy. This is something that I've learned in my journey and my evolution as a being, if you will, about the power of energy. Because, and I think some of you all know this story. I'm a super sensitive person. I'm very empathic. And if I go out and I'm like out among a crowd of people, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick up on somebody's energy and be feeling that. So I learned as a very, very young person in my journey of spirituality, I use crystals and I learned how to recalibrate myself with environment, with aroma, with thoughts, much of which I learned from Mother Sajdah Muhammad. May Allah be pleased with her. And during that journey, I just started learning how to personalize that process for myself, so that I was able to transform what I consider one of my, well, at the time, I thought it was one of my weaknesses, which was the fact that I was so sensitive. I would just, when I was a little girl, I would just cry for no reason. Or I'd like to sometimes just be in my room because if there were other strong energies popping off around me or in the house or at school, I wanted to recalibrate. I didn't understand that that's what I was doing. And so I thought that my sensitivity was one of my weaknesses. And through studying and understanding the power of energy, I was able to transform that sensitivity into what I believe is one of my superpowers. So the same sensitivity went from being a weakness to now, in my opinion, being a superpower. A weakness because that's how I saw it and I didn't understand how to use it. A superpower because it allows me to be able to read a room, to read a situation, to pick up on energy. And the more that I learned to remove myself and my ego and not put myself in everything, the more powerful the gift becomes. And I would go on to venture to say that many of us that have been in this sojourn here in America, especially coming through with the pain of slavery and Jim Crow and the war against drugs and all the systemic injustices that we face as a people, our frustrations and our pains have put us in a position where, to me, it can be transformed into a superpower. And in many cases, we've already done that. We're just not capitalizing on it or controlling it. Perfect example is like the entertainment and the music industry. Through our pain, through our suffering, we created every genre of music here in the United States of America. That is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We just don't own it. We just don't capitalize on it. And then we're so much in autopilot when it comes to creating a culture around our pain that people have now begun to utilize it and manipulate it and monetize it themselves. So they do things to create more pain, to focus on the pain. It's a way in which we are now manipulated. That same thing that in essence is a weakness can be transferred or transformed and evolved into a superpower. And I would say for each of us, let's start with ourselves as individuals. So if you find yourself, if you're one of these kind of persons that's always insecure, that's always competitive, that's always got to find a way to one up somebody, that you really can't even do business because you're so insecure. If you create a business model that doesn't work, you're freaking out. You got a problem. If you see somebody else doing something in business or doing well, all of a sudden you got an issue. You either got to try to destroy them, or you're going to try to figure out how to one up them, or you just disappear altogether. Whatever your situation is, if you start saying, every time I feel that sense of insecurity, I'm going to transition it. I'm going to take that weakness, that insecurity, and I'm going to make it a superpower. Why? Because I'm going to use that awareness and say, okay, and this is what I do. Okay, Spirit, what are you trying to teach me? I don't compete. I broke that habit of myself a long time ago. How did I do it? Because it's only natural, especially in college at a young age, that you're looking at yourself, you're discovering yourself for the first time. I never even thought that I was beautiful or fine till I remember walking down the hill at Iowa State University, going down. I don't even know where I was. I think I might have been going to the store or something. And this guy just stopped in his tracks and he said, "Oh my God, you are beautiful." And I started looking around to see who he was talking about. So at that age, when you're just kind of starting to discover yourself, it's important to have a sense of spirituality. Because as I was just kind of discovering and learning how my physicality impacted other people, getting into the vibe of understanding who I am, I began to feel that sense of needing to be competitive. Like, oh, wait a minute. They didn't say I was fine. They said she was fine. But as I started to evolve in my spirituality, I had to learn to transform that. And I started saying, and this is understanding emotional intelligence and the purpose of emotions. If I'm feeling that emotion that's making me feel insecure and wanting me to compete, what are you here to teach me? What are you trying to show me? What should I be paying attention to? Is it just awareness? What is it? And so I started having dialogues with myself when certain emotions would bubble up. I was at an event the other night, and we were presenting. I'm part of a team that was shortlisted for a big project with the city of Chicago. And we made a presentation. And there was a person there who, well, during the presentation, our architect started explaining that myself and the woman who brought me on as her partner, Valerie Allen, that our concepts were so powerful that he was able to just kind of draw and create based on the energy that we brought to the table. Very powerful. It's rare that you meet people who want to do that. So I was grateful for him for saying that. And so he said, if you got questions about how the design came about and the energy of it and where it came from, and he started going like this because we were standing like on the side of him. He says, talk to these two because that's where it came from. Well, a particular person who I won't name, who's very competitive, decided the next day to call him and say, how did you meet them? Where'd the financing come from? Just asking 1,001 questions. And I know this person. So I called the person and I said, what are you doing? I said, I'm really just calling you as a sister because I could just let you embarrass yourself. I said, but stop for a minute. And the person said, well, I have this project I've been working on. I haven't been able to get it off the ground and Haven't been able to find anybody to help me with it. And I said, well, why don't you ask a question? You could have easily said, Wendy, can I get your card? Maybe we can have a conversation about it. But to go behind somebody's back, instead of saying, you know what, let me talk to the sister because maybe my business model's wrong. Maybe my approach is wrong. Maybe I'm not doing, maybe it's something that I could be tweaking. Instead of looking at it like, well, how come she get to do this? And why her? And this and that. See, when you start messing around like that, let me tell you why competition is stupid. Okay? It's almost like if you as an amateur basketball player decide to get on the court with LeBron James, and then you get mad at LeBron because he got a superpower that came from God when it comes to playing this game. But you don't even have a superpower. You ain't tall enough. You ain't agile enough. You ain't athletic enough. You just out there playing around every once in a while. But you jealous of him. That's how stupid it is. But see, in our everyday lives, you run up against somebody that got a superpower and you caught up in competition, you start looking stupid. And you're going to feel even stupider than you look. As opposed to, excuse me, let me get a sip of my coffee here. As opposed to reaching out to that person and saying, how can I be down? LeBron, teach me a few moves. I'm not on your level, but I got this amateur league I'm over here working with, and I might just want to work out with you. So when I go back to the amateur league, I can shine. I don't do this for a living. I do something else. Or maybe I do it for a living, but you just got a superpower, you know, that's just off the chain. That's just like, I can sing, but I can't sing like Whitney Houston or Jennifer Hudson. I would never get jealous of them because that is a superpower that came from God. And what I said to this person, I said, you are playing a game, caught up in your head, trying to compete against somebody who has a superpower in this field. Just face it. Just face it. And guess what? It's okay, because when you have a superpower in the field, it's a gift and a curse. Sometimes when you don't have a superpower in the field, it's good because you just go hire people that got a superpower. That's how you tweak that business model. You go hire people like me. This is why I say it's a gift and a curse, because people like me end up getting caught up because we either get constantly offered to be hired, which is good. And because we have a superpower in the field, we have a need to perform that superpower. So getting hired and being of service to someone in a particular field is good for us. The other side of it, though, is that it can be a challenge when we get ready to do it for ourselves. So everything has its yin and its yang. Don't get caught up being competitive and messing up your energy because you get insecure. And sometimes we're so blind by our insecurities that we don't even realize that we are insecure. Because some of us like faking it out. We're just fake. Oh, I'm good. That's my homeboy. That's my girl. When you're really not. And why are you not? It's only because you haven't discovered your own superpower. See, if you discover your superpower and I got mine and the gods all get together, then it's nothing. But if and you could even be in a field that I have the superpower in, but I'm your friend, all you got to do is ask. You got access to a multi-billion-dollar asset and you don't even know it, but you're too busy being competitive So you miss the mark. So how does that tie in with energy? Okay. It's because business, I'm going to put this up here because this is such a powerful statement that came to me the other day. Business is vibrational. It will show you what you believe. And that's okay too. See, a lot of times that offends people because they say, well, you know, I just can't get this thing off the ground. I can't get it going, or I'm stuck at a certain income level, or I feel myself on a hamster wheel. I'm working 12 hours a day, but I'm only making $150,000 a year. It's your belief system that if I were coaching you, we would dig into and tweak. The key thing, though, is you got to be okay with that. See, when I gave you the example of the guy paying me the compliment when I was coming down the hill in college, that was based on a belief system that he wasn't talking to me, that he could not have possibly been referring to me as being so amazingly beautiful. And so that belief system had to be upgraded. It had to be tweaked, right? Because when you come from a family like I do, where everybody's fine, then you may not stick out. So nobody's constantly telling you, oh yeah, you look so beautiful, you so fine, because everybody fine. The men, the women, we all fine. So it becomes, it changes your perspective when you go out in the world and you're like, oh, okay, I guess, wait a minute, it is something special about this, right? It's a belief system that has to be tweaked. You have to be okay that you have a deficiency that you need help with. And business will tell you who you are. That's why when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to do for self, it sounded like just an economic assignment. It sounded like get up and go do your business. And we tied that to stop begging the white man to do for you what you could do for yourself. And we tied it to that. But it's way deeper than that. It's deep because business is vibrational. It will tell you what you believe. It will help you discover blind spots if you're not arrogant. It will help you discover blind spots so you can figure out where you are on the vibrational and manifestation scale and figure out what you need to do to tweak it. Okay? Many times we transition from the business world or the job world into business, and we're very structured and we're very scripted and we're very routine. Let me tell you something. That can be your enemy. Not to be confused with discipline, but that script, that routine, that doing the same thing all the time over and over again can be your enemy. Why? It can be an internal enemy and it can be a tool for an external enemy. Anything that puts you in a position where they can clock you, where you are in a routine, means that they can strategize against you. That goes from negative energy sources to just people out there preying on you. If they know your routine, they can clock you and they can go against you. Same thing happens internally. Okay. Once you get into a routine, and this is what you do all the time, then your mind, your subconscious mind and your body does not have to deploy any additional tools in order to do what it is that you do every day, because what you do is on automatic pilot. So when you change up your routine, some days sleep in a different part of the house, other days go to a different coffee shop, a different restaurant, go home a different way. And when you're doing that, you're going to find your brain going, where are you going? Because your brain is just trying to be lazy. but there's different stimuli. Go for a walk in the park. Go sit down by water. Talk to somebody that you haven't normally spoken to. Maybe during a certain time of day, you usually check your email. Maybe today, watch a movie. Mix it up a little bit and keep that brain firing on all cylinders. Remember, we're talking about energy here. Energy. All right. When I kept thinking this week when this subject was coming to me, unity was flashing. Unity, unity, unity. And see, with unity is a certain energy. And I started thinking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying, all we have to do is unite. It's more powerful than an atomic bomb. Our unity, 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 unity. And then I realized, I said, that energy is like an explosive energy. It's a powerful energy. So minds coming together is united, is an energy force. It is something that becomes very difficult to win against energetically. It's all energy. We're going to watch a video on this. I put up here another thing we've been talking about a lot. Mr. Muhammad cracked one atom into 10 million parts. What are we talking about here? Are we talking about physicality, or are we talking about breaking down energy? And for those of you who want a little pop quiz, how fast do thoughts travel according to the teachings and what we've been taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? How fast? Before we go to this video, I just want to shout y'all out. Good morning, Brother Lamont. I see you. Good morning. Wa alaikum salam, sir. Let's see who else we got here. Good morning, Mother. Happy Saturday. Great morning, Sister Betty. Welcome, welcome. Sister Monica, I see you here in the house. Wa alaikum salam. She said, great Saturday and happy holy day of atonement. You know, yesterday, Brother Sadiq and Brother Terrell, I was at Sajdah house, and Brother Sadiq and Brother Terrell were next door, and they were way on the sidewalk, and we all just spread out our arms and said, happy holy day of atonement. And Brother Sadiq said, don't that feel good? I said, yes. Oh my God. It just felt good to just say that. So happy holy day of atonement. Sister Aurelia says, grand rising and happy holy day of atonement. Thank you so much, sis. Grand rising. Look like we got a super chat here. Look at Brother Lamont with the 1999 super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. If you support the program, hit those super chats down there at the bottom, or just go to Cash App. It's up here, Sajdah Enterprises. All right. So we're going to show a video. It's going to break some more things down about energy. And I'm going to come back and talk to us about making sure we move through today, controlling our energy. If you catch yourself saying something, look. Sometimes you can't always function on a high level. Sometimes situations are so so low, or sometimes people get on your nerves so damn bad. Sometimes you can go into situations where folks are so dead and so unaware, and then they're arrogant with their dead thinking, their blindness. They're blind, deaf, and dumb, and they're arrogant with it. And all you can do is just find a space of being neutral. In the spiritual world, they call it a space of neutrality. All you can do is just be neutral and do what? Look, I did my part. I did the best I could. I told you what you need to do. I'm neutral. I got it off my chest, or I'm here to support, or I donated what I could, whatever it is, but you find that space of neutrality or neutral, and that's all you can do, and you leave it there. You don't try to take a high road. See, sometimes we mess up when we try to go high in every situation. In a case like that, where you got arrogant people who are blind, deaf, and dumb, the best you probably can do is find that space of neutrality. Because if you try to go high, now you're going to turn the corner with that energy. Because sometimes we go high by going, well, whatever, it ain't me. We're teetering. We go, whatever, that's what you get. Now we starting to do something, and we go there. But if you catch yourself doing that, see, that's what you get. That's why you're in the situation we're in, because you da-da-da-da. We start doing that because we're trying to elevate our ego. The ego is trying to rise above the blindness, the deafness, and the dumbness, and the arrogance associated with it. So our ego tries to rise above it, so it will all of a sudden try to be special. And what you do there is just go, you already know you're special. You don't have to try to let the ego make you more special. But what you do there is you just go for that space of neutrality. And if you can't, then you just might need to get up out of there, or you just have to budget your time and budget, because it may be related to your job, and you got to go to this job, or you got to go to see these relatives, or you got to go be around this blindness, this deafness, and this dumbness. In the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, blind, deaf, and dumb. And I'm adding arrogance with being blind, deaf, and dumb. So sometimes you got to be around that, because there's certain obligations that you may have, whether they're family obligations, friend obligations, business obligations. It just might be, but you go there and you go for a space of neutrality. And then you can come back and then recalibrate yourself, and then go back to your high flying energy and your high flying disc. Brother Lamont said, these people will have your pressure through the roof. That is so true, Brother Lamont. You know why your pressure go through the roof, Brother Lamont? Is because they're blind, deaf, and dumb, and you're not. And then they're arrogant about it. And so they take your pressure through the roof because you really are trying to find a space to understand them. Or you might be just wishing and hoping that they would get it and see it. Or sometimes Allah shows you what's going to happen, and you already know what's going to happen because you've seen it before. You have blind and dumb on a metaphysical level is going to lead to some physical death or some suffering. So sometimes your pressure gets up because you're resisting that. You don't want to see people suffer. That's why I say, go to a space of neutrality. Do your part, make your contribution, and that's about all you can do. You can't own it. You can't necessarily turn around their arrogance. You know, oftentimes words don't teach. And so you do what you can. You add your gifts, your talents to the extent that you can. And you go away and you be an example. And sometimes when they see you as an example, my mom and I were talking about this yesterday, when they see you and instead of looking at you as an example, they get mad. See, that's what that demon, see that blindness, that deafness, that dumbness, it's like a perfect energetic environment. It's like a petri dish for demons and negativity. I don't care how spiritual you claim you are, but if you create that petri dish and that old negative, nasty demon can get up in there, that envy and jealousy, that blind, deaf, and dumbness can get up in there, it's a wrap. And it ain't nothing you or I can necessarily do about it until Allah turns their heart and their mind so that they can at least see differently and have a little breakthrough and crack that atom just a little bit. And then maybe some truth will come through, but you just got to keep going and being an example. Keep being who you are, but find that space of neutrality when you're around that type of energy. So, all right. So with that, let's look at this video, y'all. And we're going to go from there.
anything more to the human than this physical body? Did you ever wonder if there's anything more to the human than this physical body that we have? Well, it's real interesting because if we go back in history, they talk about something called spirit and energy and an invisible force that seems to be controlling who and what we really are. Quantum physics emphasizes that the universe is not really split into two realms, a material realm and an energetic realm. Quantum physics reveals that everything is made out of energy. What we perceive as matter is actually an illusion of energy and light, that there is nothing physical. What do you mean? I say, well, first of all, a very simple fact. When physicists started to take the atom apart and find there were things inside, such as protons, neutrons, and electrons, then they say, yeah, but what are those things made out of? Then they got down to smaller things like quarks. And I say, yeah, but what were they made out of? And ultimately, what physicists recognized was at the fundamental core of an atom, there is nothing material at all. It's an energy vortex. It's a powerful energy field. And that all atoms are these energy fields. And the significance about that is, well, atoms make up humans. And so by definition, we perceive ourselves as physical structures, but according to quantum physics, we're energy vortices. Imagine the cell as a television set, and that the environmental signal, like a broadcast, is being picked up by the antennas on that television set. And therefore, the cell responds to that broadcast. Well, guess what? Everyone has a different set of antennas. So by definition, everyone is receiving a different broadcast field. Field, yeah, that's what physicists refer to as the energy in which we live. So all of us are in a field, but each one of us actually receives a very precise and specific part of that field different than everybody else. No two people share the same self-receptors. That's why we just can't exchange cells, organs, and tissues with each other. Now comes an interesting part. If the cell is like a television receiving a broadcast, then consider this. What happens if you're watching your TV and it breaks? We say the TV's dead. I go, yeah. But now the question is this. Yes, the TV just died, but is the broadcast still there that I was watching? The answer, of course it's still there. The television's gone. The broadcast is present. I say, how would you know? Well, one way of knowing, get another TV set, plug it in, turn it on, and tune it to the right station, and the show is back on air. Well, this would apply directly to humans as well. I have an identity due to a set of receptors receiving an environmental signal. If I die, I have no more reception, and therefore my broadcast exists, but there's no TV to express it. If an embryo shows up in the future with the same set of self-receptors that I have, well, then guess what? I'm back online in a different TV. Does it have to be a male or female TV? Nope, that's the TV. Well, how about, is it black, white, brown, red, yellow? Nope, that's the TV. That's not who you are. You are the broadcast. Lastly, it's important to note that the character that you express in this life is actually sent back to your source, because your brain is not keeping your consciousness in your head, because magnetoencephalographs, unlike electroencephalographs, magnetoencephalographs read your brain function, but the probes don't even touch your head. There's a very important concept right here. Your thoughts are not contained in your head. They're broadcast into the field. And as Einstein emphasized, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle, matter. And then we put all of this together and says, your biology is an expression of this matter, but it's actually shaped by the field, a field that exists whether you're here or not. And then all of a sudden, the ancient story of spirituality now conforms to the modern day science of quantum physics. You're a field, you're a spirit, you're more than this. And when you understand that, it is the first step towards your personal empowerment.
That was powerful. I welcome your thoughts in the chat. So, what does that mean for us today as we move forward? What does that mean? That means that we're going to be in control of our energy. We're going to pay attention to our thoughts and our belief systems. And I was going to say this in response to this statement I have here on the screen. Business is vibrational. It will show you what you believe. Okay. Let's say you start a business, but you really don't believe that you can do it. You really believe that the only way that you can make money to pay your bills and take care of yourself is through having a job. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just go get a job and do your business part-time and work on your belief system. See, I think what's interesting is that we have thousands of people out here who believe that the only way that they can get money or have things is to snatch and grab, to rob people, to scam, to run games. Some people don't even believe that they can attract the right people to themselves. So they go to events or they hang around people just so that they can try to steal their contacts. If that's your belief system, then that's where you're going to be stuck. So what you want to do is work on your belief system, but it's going to require you to be honest. You're going to have to wrestle down that nasty ego of yours. And what the ego is doing is preventing you from receiving the benefits of doing for self because it's edging God out. Ego, as Dr. Wayne Dyer says, edging God out. It's edging God out, preventing you, pinching you off from, blocking you from the benefits of getting up and doing something for yourself. If you believe that you can't lose weight, then you won't get out here and decide, let me go for a walk, because you don't believe you can. But doing for self is getting up saying, I'm going to take my health into my own hands. I'm going to start paying attention to food labels. I'm going to pay attention to ingredients. I'm going to pay attention to what I put into my mouth. If you believe that you can control the energy that flows through this body so that you don't tear up the physical body with the bad energy that you're constantly exposing yourself to, then guess what? Then God can come in and flow in. The spirit, the energy of the universe will come in, flow in, and help to restore the physical body that you were given to dwell in during this time that you're here on earth. But if your bad energy, bad thoughts, bad food, bad environment, negative, acting niggardly, being ratchet, all of that is going to take a toll on your body. This is why we're seeing people at 30-something years old with cardiovascular disease, advanced stages, because it's prolonged exposure to contrary negative energy that is other than the energy that is supportive of you. So being other than yourself, energy that is other than the source energy that feeds the body that God put you in. So accept your own and be yourself. Stop acting other than yourself. Well, first you got to know, who is you? Who are you? See, the Bible says be, and it is. Well, who you need to be? Who are you? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad comes and says, accept your own and be yourself. Who is yourself? Yourself is a righteous Muslim. Uh-oh. Wait. Now you lost me, Sister Sajdah, because I'm not trying to be no Muslim. Muslim only means one who submits his or her will to do the will of God. That's it. So even if you're a spiritualist, you're still a Muslim, because you're trying to figure out how to spiritually submit yourself to God, to source, to universe. Whatever language you use doesn't matter. You're still a Muslim because you're trying to figure out how to submit and align with that energy. So that makes you a Muslim. If you're a good Christian, you're a good Muslim. If you're a good Muslim, you're a good Christian. A good Christian is one who submits themselves to do the will of Allah. I know this has been heavy this morning. I'm going to stop right there. Okay, control your energy today and control your environment. If you are in a space where either you're so negative or the environment is so negative that you can't find a way to go high, then settle on neutrality. Settle on neutrality and work on your thoughts, work on your belief system. And remember, business is vibrational. It will show you what you believe. So be grateful for wherever your business is. I gave you all an example. I'm going to give you this one last example. I gave it to you all a couple of weeks ago. I used to have a business. I used to have an entertainment business where I was doing business consulting. I was one of the very first persons to do digital distribution. I had a deal with a company called IOTA that became Orchard. And this is back when people were still hawking CDs. And I was like, look, don't press up CDs, just do it digitally. A lot of people wasn't trying to do that. It was very difficult to find a place, a way to do it. I was managing artists, which I later realized, like, what was I thinking? Because it's too little money for the amount of work that you got to do. So I started this model of becoming partners with creative people and creating spaces where revenue could be generated. And then there was a business partnership. So they would bring in their creativity. I would support it in business. I had this great business model. But the industry wouldn't let me in. It was not successful. In many cases, the artists didn't really accept me. I had artists I was working with, but they didn't accept my process and what I wanted to do. And I found myself kind of getting in a space where I was sort of kissing their ass, trying to get them to see where I was coming from and just trying to help, because my belief system had already shown me this Diddy stuff and these freak offs and all this stuff that's already, I seen that, but I didn't believe in it. So the industry didn't let me in. Remember, business is vibrational. It will show you what you believe. So it showed me that because you don't believe in what needs to be done and what the gatekeepers are requiring, you're not going to be successful. We're not going to let you in, because I couldn't even go to a space of neutrality in those environments because it just was against my belief system. And I'm grateful that business is vibrational like that, because it made me say, okay, I just can't do this. This ain't my thing. And I just said, you know what? I had a talk with myself and I said, let's go back into traditional consulting. Let's focus on being a developer. But really what I realized that I was trying to do was I was trying to satisfy my own creative calling, my own love of music, my own love of art. And I realized that I'm an artist. Business is my canvas. So let's shut this business down. Let's close the office down. Let's shut it down and let's move on. And we can incorporate holistically who we are into business. So when you see any projects that I've done, they're very artistic, they're very creative. There's lots of music and poetry and all of that reflected in the things that I design and put together from a business standpoint. And so I'm grateful for the vibrational aspect of business. And so I'm saying to you that it's okay. You can either use it. Once you start examining that belief, when the vibration of business shows you who you are and forces you to examine your belief system, accept the results of the examination. It may just be a little small tweak you need to make, and next thing you know, your business is gone. It may be, maybe this ain't for you, which is what I discovered in the entertainment industry. So it could be a number of different things, but take the data that you receive when you are examining your belief system that comes up as a result of the vibrational nature of business, take the data and analyze it without your ego. All right, y'all. Thank you all for listening this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget, tomorrow, 2 p.m., Holy Day of Atonement message, Mas Mariam, 7351 South Stony Island Avenue. I'm excited. It's going to be a very powerful message. Inshallah, we will all walk away with a better light of understanding and being stronger in our faith. Just hearing and listening. And I can't wait to, what I love about times like this is I can't wait to see how the energy of the event, the lecture, or the talk interacts with the spirit in me and what bubbles up and what gifts are activated. So I'm excited. All right, family. We ask for your continued support. If you enjoy the channel, thank you, Brother Lamont, for your super chat. You can also super chat, or you can Cash App and go to Sajdah Enterprises, Cash App Sajdah Enterprises, and support the network. And stay tuned. Make sure you all are following the Sajdah House Instagram, because we got some exciting things. I'm not there this morning because the team was actually going to work this morning. So I was going to broadcast from the house this morning, but they decided that they weren't going to come in today. So I get to go take a nap before I start my day. So may Allah bless each and every one of you. I'm wishing each and every one of you more goodness than you've ever received or imagined. Walk in that goodness, walk in that knowing, walk in that love. Walk knowing that you are special to Almighty God, Allah. You don't got to be surprised about it. All you got to do is be grateful. Love you all, family. Peace and blessings. See you soon.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible